Soon, very soon, you're going to understand why every painful moment had to happen exactly the way it did. Not the polished, sanitized explanation people hand you about growth and lessons. Not the neat psychology. Not the simplified karma theory. Not the inspirational quote that tries to wrap your suffering in a pretty bow. The real reason goes deeper than anything you've been told. Deeper than self-help frameworks. Deeper than spiritual cliches. Deeper than any system you've used to make sense of why life has been so relentlessly, personally, and unapologetically hard. You're being tested, not in the way teachers test students to see if they memorize the material, not in the way life tests patience with minor inconveniences, but in the way heaven tests souls, to see if they are ready for what comes after this realm. I know that sounds heavy. I know it might even sound unfair. You've already been through so much. You've carried things no one saw. You've survived nights no one applauded you for surviving. Why would there need to be a test on top of everything else you've endured? But here's the truth. The test isn't separate from the suffering. The suffering is the test. Every betrayal, every loss, every moment you thought would finally break you, but somehow didn't. Every day you woke up and chose to keep going, despite having every reason to give up. All of it has been evaluating something in you. Something rare, something most people never develop, because most people never face what you faced. Most people live on the surface. Their hardest decision is what to order for dinner, which show to binge next, which vacation to book. But you've been living in the depths. You've wrestled with questions that have no easy answers. You've carried emotional weights that would have crushed someone who never had to build strength the way you have. You've stood in storms that didn't just pass through. They stayed. And they changed you. And heaven has been watching, not with judgment, with recognition, because the souls who endure this level of testing, the ones who don't collapse into bitterness, who don't surrender to cruelty, who don't let pain turn them cold, become something rare, something necessary, something that can only be forged in the exact fire you've been walking through. You didn't find this message by accident, or maybe it found you, because you're standing at a threshold moment right now. A moment where you're questioning everything. Does any of this matter? Does my suffering serve any purpose beyond survival? Is there meaning in this madness? Or am I just unlucky? Just cursed? Just living through randomness that happens to feel brutally personal? Hear this clearly. It is not random. Not the timing of your pain. Not the specific ways you were broken. Not the precise losses that shaped you. Not the betrayals that forced you to learn discernment. Not the doors that closed when you begged them to stay open. This human experience, this life you're living right now, is preparation. It is the realm where souls prove what they're made of, before they are trusted with eternity, before they are given access to what heaven truly is. Because heaven isn't simply a reward for being good. It's a destination for souls refined enough to exist there without destroying themselves or others, with unhealed wounds, unchecked ego, or unresolved bitterness. And you're being refined in real time, through real pain, through real loneliness, through real doubt. And yes, it's brutal. There are days you don't think you'll make it through, but you do. You keep making it through. And every time you choose to rise again, every time you choose integrity over revenge, compassion over cruelty, growth over collapse, you pass another level of a test most humans don't even realize they're taking. The people who hurt you, they were part of it, not because they were sent to harm you, but because your reaction to being harmed revealed something sacred about your soul, your capacity for forgiveness, your ability to set boundaries, your courage to walk away, your strength to choose love, even when hate would have been justified. The losses you've suffered, they stripped away attachments that would have kept you tethered here in ways that would prevent you from transcending this realm fully. They taught you impermanence. They taught you that clinging causes suffering. They taught you that letting go is not weakness, it's evolution. The isolation you felt, it wasn't abandonment. It was space being created. Space for you to develop a relationship with something beyond human validation. Space to stop measuring your worth by applause, attention, or approval. Space to realize that your value was never dependent on who stayed, who clapped, or who understood you. Space for you to discover that when everything else falls away, when the noise quiets, when the crowd disperses, When the distractions dissolve, there is still a presence, a knowing, a steady awareness that does not fluctuate with circumstances, a divine companionship that never leaves, even when everyone else does, a quiet strength that whispers, "Keep going," when your own voice trembles. Every single thing that has happened to you has been developing something heaven needs, not by accident, not randomly, not carelessly. Compassion, born from deep suffering, the kind of compassion that doesn't judge quickly because it understands pain personally, the kind that can sit with someone in their darkness without trying to fix them, because you've lived there too. Wisdom, born from being lost and finding your way back. Wisdom that isn't theoretical, but lived. Wisdom carved into you through confusion, doubt, and nights when you questioned everything. Strength, born from being broken and choosing to rebuild anyway. Not the loud kind of strength that boasts, but the quiet kind that rises again. The kind that gets up when no one is watching. The kind that refuses to let bitterness win. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared for a version of yourself that could not exist without this refinement. Prepared for a depth of peace that surface-level living could never sustain. Prepared for a calling that requires the exact resilience you've been forced to develop. And the reason this message reached you right now, in this exact moment of your life, is because you're close. Closer than you realize. Close to completing this phase of the test. Close to graduating from this level of soul development. Close to understanding that none of it was wasted. The exhaustion you feel isn't failure. It's the final stretch before breakthrough. The muscle fatigue right before growth. The trembling legs before the finish line. It's the darkest hour before dawn. The final contraction before birth. The stillness right before transformation shifts everything. The quiet right before elevation. Heaven isn't watching you with doubt. It's watching you with anticipation, with recognition, with certainty. Not wondering if you'll make it, knowing you will. Because you've already survived things that would have permanently stopped others. You've already walked through storms that rewired you. You've already endured silence, rejection, disappointment, and you're still here. You've already demonstrated resilience beyond explanation, the kind that cannot be taught in comfort, the kind that can only be forged in fire. You've already shown you can endure without losing your humanity. You didn't let pain turn you cruel. You didn't let betrayal make you heartless. You didn't let loss convince you that love wasn't worth it. And what comes next? It isn't just relief from suffering. It's elevation. It's entering a state of existence where the torments of this realm don't exist, where insecurity no longer whispers lies, where fear no longer dictates your decisions, where comparison no longer steals your joy, where the limitations that once bound you dissolve, where the labels placed on you fall away, where the identity shaped by pain transforms into purpose, where the love you've been searching for becomes the atmosphere you live within, not something you chase, but something you embody. But you can't skip the test. You can't bypass preparation. You can't fast forward refinement. You have to complete it. And completion doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you never doubt. It doesn't mean you never feel tired. It doesn't mean you never question. It means integration. It means taking every lesson, every scar, every awakening, every heartbreak, and allowing it to shape you without hardening you. It means carrying your story without being controlled by it. It means remembering the pain without reliving it. It means becoming someone who can hold heaven without breaking under the weight of its beauty. Because even beauty requires capacity. Even love requires readiness. Even peace requires expansion. So when you look at your life and wonder why it's been so hard, remember this: you're not being tortured. You're being trusted. Trusted with a level of soul development that requires this exact curriculum, this exact pain, this exact path, a path that could not belong to anyone else, a journey that is uniquely designed for the soul you carry. And soon, sooner than you think, you will understand. You will see why every moment unfolded the way it did, why every person entered and exited your life on divine timing, why certain doors slammed shut while others quietly opened, why what felt like rejection was actually redirection. Because sometimes the door that closed in your face wasn't punishment, it was protection. Sometimes the no you cried over was saving you from a future you couldn't yet see. Sometimes the person who walked away was removing themselves from a chapter they were never meant to finish with you. Why what felt like abandonment was alignment. Because not everyone who leaves is meant to stay. Some departures create the exact space required for your next becoming. Some goodbyes clear the noise so you can finally hear your own soul again. What felt like being left behind was often life repositioning you, placing you where your growth could accelerate, where your spirit could breathe, where your path could straighten. Why what felt like chaos was actually choreography. Because while you were standing inside the storm, all you could see was lightning. But from above, there was a pattern, a sequence, a divine timing to the collisions and the collapses. What looked random was intentional. What looked messy was movement. What looked like falling apart was pieces rearranging into something stronger than before. You will see it from a higher perspective, one that makes the suffering make sense. A perspective where you no longer ask, why did this happen to me? But instead understand, this happened for the shaping of me. One that reveals the perfection hidden inside what felt like destruction. Because sometimes things must break so that truth can breathe. Sometimes illusions must shatter so authenticity can rise. Sometimes the life you built has to crumble so the life aligned with your soul can begin. One that shows you how every breakdown was building something stronger. Every anxiety attack strengthening your awareness. Every heartbreak deepening your capacity to love wisely. Every failure refining your direction. One that uncovers how every delay was protecting you. Protecting you from being unprepared. Protecting you from settling too soon. Protecting you from stepping into spaces that would have shrunk you instead of expanded you. One that shows you how every single experience was custom designed to forge you into the soul heaven needs you to become. Not the comfortable version of you, not the applauded version of you, but the awakened version of you. The grounded, discerning, compassionate, unshakable version of you. So right now, declare this. I have faith, and I know I'm being prepared. Write it, even if your hands tremble, even if your mind argues back. Speak it, even if your voice cracks, even if doubt tries to interrupt. Whisper it through tears if you have to. Let it rise from the place inside you that still hopes. Even when hope feels fragile, feel it. Even if your voice shakes, feel it. Even if you don't fully understand it yet, feel it. Because faith isn't certainty, it's courage in motion. Not because you have all the answers, not because you've figured it all out, not because the pain has disappeared, not because you're never afraid. You are human. Of course you're afraid sometimes. Of course you question. Of course you get tired. But because something in you recognizes the truth in these words. Something deeper than logic. Something older than fear. Something steadier than circumstance. Because your soul knows, even when your mind doubts, that your suffering has purpose, that your life has meaning beyond what you can currently measure, that your pain is not pointless, even when it feels unbearable, that your endurance is not unnoticed, even when no one applauds you for surviving, that this test, this refinement, is shaping you for something more beautiful than anything this human experience alone can contain. You are not alone, even when it feels silent, even when your prayers seem to echo, even when the room feels empty. You are not alone in your becoming. You are not alone in your healing. You are not alone in your waiting. You are not forgotten. Your tears were counted, not one of them wasted. Your prayers were heard, even the wordless ones. Your silent battles were witnessed, even the ones you never told anyone about. The nights you almost gave up, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, the moments you chose integrity when bitterness would have been easier. None of it went unseen. You are not behind. You are not late to your destiny. You are not missing out on what is meant for you. You are not failing at life because your journey looks different from someone else's highlight reel. Your timeline is sacred. Your pace is intentional. Your unfolding is precise. You are exactly where you need to be, growing in ways you cannot yet see, strengthening roots beneath the surface, expanding capacity quietly and invisibly, becoming in ways you cannot yet measure, developing depth that numbers and milestones can't quantify, shifting internally before the external catches up, aligning in ways you cannot yet understand, people moving out of position, opportunities rearranging, paths clearing without your awareness, all of it preparing you, all of it positioning you, all of it refining you for what comes next.